I think that at least the perception is that there's not a whole lot of difference between what you think we should do with entitlements or non-discretionary spending and what President Biden is proposing. It's almost the third rail of politics. Have you changed your outlook on how to handle entitlements, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, Mr. President? It seems like something has to be done, or else we're going to be stuck at 120% of debt to GDP forever.
Yeah, something should be done, like raising the Social Security tax gap, or cap, I should say. I mean, these guys, they're so thirsty for cuts to entitlement spending, which we pay into, Social Security, Medicare. Are you gonna do something about that, Trump? You sound like Biden. You sound like you wanna protect those entitlement programs that hardworking Americans have paid into. It's almost like it's a third rail. It's a third rail because we paid into it, you piece of, anyway. So Trump, who tends to boast about how he'd allegedly protect Social Security and Medicare, seems to be willing to cut Social Security and Medicare. So let's hear more of this exchange and you'll get exactly what I'm talking about.
So first of all, there is a lot you can do in terms of entitlements, in terms of cutting, and in terms of also the theft and the bad management of entitlements, tremendous bad management of entitlements. There's tremendous amounts of things and numbers of things you can do. So I don't, necessarily agree with the statement. I know that they're going to end up weakening Social Security because the country is weak. I mean, you take a look at outside of the stock market, are what we're going through hell. People are going through hell. They have, and I believe the number is 50%. They say 32 and 33%. I believe we have a cumulative inflation of over 50%. That means people are, they have to make more than 50% more over a fairly short period of time to stay up. They've gotten routed. The middle class in our country has been routed. And the middle class largely built our country. And they have been treated very, very badly with policy.
Take the Adderall before the interview. You gotta focus, bro. Like, okay, so obviously he's open to cutting Social Security, but then he rambles off and talks about like inflation. I don't know if you know this, but inflation's at 50%, Jay.
It's such a stupid comment to make.
By the way, inflation is real and it sucks and it's definitely still around. And you go to the grocery store and it's definitely more expensive to buy groceries today versus 2 years ago. So it's real, I'm not denying that. 50%, just.
Why does he do that? Why does he say things that are so outlandish that it might even challenge MAGA guys to go, 50%? A lot of mainstream media don't give you honest news. We do, you know why? Because of you. Paid membership on YouTube makes all the difference. Hit the join button below and you become the hero that sustains us. Look, I actually think that Trump wasn't super clear that he was gonna cut Social Security and Medicare. He talked about entitlements and he was trying to be evasive. So first, why was he trying to be evasive? Because he is in an unwinnable spot. All of his donors want him to cut Social Security and Medicare. He's on CNBC trying to appeal to donor class, right? So he has to talk about entitlements, bad. I hate the average guy. I'll cut the living crap out of their payments, okay? But if he says that, he's gonna lose not only voters in general, but actually a ton of MAGA love Social Security and Medicare.
Yes.
And so he does, so he wants to be populist, so he doesn't want to spit out the words, I'm gonna cut Social Security and Medicare, but he does want to say to those potential donors on CNBC, entitlements, I'm really worried about them. And one small point here, but he said, there's a lot of waste there, and just well then, brother, you were president for 4 years. Why didn't you clean all that up?
I'm open to hearing more about the alleged waste. And look, I think government is insanely wasteful. So I'm, again, open to hearing what he means. The problem is there was a lack of specificity in his statements there. So I don't know what he's talking about. What I do know is if there's genuinely concern about Social Security being insolvent, a program, again, that the federal government never hesitates to, take a huge portion of my, income from to fund, then maybe we need to, I don't know, like lift the cap on Social Security taxes so it doesn't, people get, basically a certain amount of your income gets taxed for Social Security, right? you hit a certain amount, and then after that amount, you stop getting taxed for Social Security. Now, when I say you, I don't mean literally you. I mean the wealthiest people in the country, they hit that tax cap, and then they're no longer getting taxed for Social Security. You could lift that, so more income is being contributed to the program. But the reason why Social Security and Medicare are considered the third rail is because of how tremendously popular these programs are. And it is incredibly unpopular to tell the American people who have worked incredibly hard and have contributed to this program that, maybe you're not gonna retire at 65. Maybe we're gonna raise your retirement age to, I don't know. I mean, we've heard Republicans who proposed raising it to 70. And for people who do the kind of job we do, maybe that's doable because we're not doing hard labor. But really, you're gonna ask construction workers to continue working in construction past 65. It's so dumb. And again, this is the reason why it's considered the third rail. We've paid into it. It's not something that's like given to us. It's not a handout. It's something people have worked for.
Yeah, I just quickly on that. I hate that they frame it as entitlements, making it seem like you feel entitled. But
we are entitled to it.
It's literal.
Yeah.
It's your money. You paid it into the taxes. Therefore, you are entitled to it. This is not a false sense of entitlement. This is an actual entitlement that of your own money. And by the way, the base is 168,000. There's a couple of different categories, but that's the main one. So beyond 168,000 in income, you don't pay into Social Security anymore. And so if you lifted that cap and you let everybody pay into it for all of their income, Social Security would be solvent and perfectly fine, and probably Medicare too. Social Security for almost forever and Medicare for a long, long time. So it's actually one of the easiest fixes that you could have in terms of government policy. But the CNBC crew despises that because almost all their viewers make over $168,000, so they don't want that at all. So they're like, Trump, you better cut entitlements, you better never raise our taxes, you better lower our taxes. So, but how can you lower taxes and still tackle the debt? You can't, because you're gonna make the debt way, way worse. The only way to do it is to rob you guys.
And I mean, look, CNBC represents the best interests of Wall Street. Let's keep it real. And the investor class, 100%. And so what does Wall Street want more than anything? A complete privatized retirement model, where instead of putting money into a Social Security system, which isn't attached to risk the same way, let's say a 401k is or an IRA is, that money, if you are an American who has been contributing to, well, everyone's been contributing to Social Security, but they would rather just have a complete privatized model where Wall Street gets to manage all of your retirement funds and earn a fee from it, right?
Yeah, take commissions from it,
yes.
Oftentimes giant commissions. And by the way, take more risks so they make more money, but if they lose it all, it's not their money anyway, it's your money. That is perfect for Wall Street. Risk-free commissions to no end. So that is why they want to decimate these two programs. And Trump is a fake populist, so he'll sit there and kiss the ass of all of the donors who want to do that because he just wants their money. And then he'll tell you pretty little lies about how he's going to protect Social Security and Medicare. Well, brother, why didn't you do it? Why didn't you do it when you had 4 years in office? Why didn't you get rid of the waste and the abuse? Why were you sitting around doing nothing? Oh yeah, that's true. You weren't doing nothing. You did pass one major piece of legislation to cut corporate taxes.
Yeah.
He's not a populist at all. He's a giant fraud.